Hello, everybody, and welcome to Genealogy Garage. I am Julie Huffman, the genealogy librarian here at the Los Angeles Public Library. And Genealogy Garage is our program in which we present topics related to the world of genealogy and beyond. We are also co-sponsored by our friends in Burbank, the Southern California Genealogical Society. If there is any topic or anything you'd like to hear about, just send me an email. You can see my email address there on the lower part of the screen. Send me an email, tell me what you're interested in, or just say hi. I like to hear from you so I know that I can create programming that you're going to be interested in. This session is being recorded, so don't worry about taking too many notes. You can always watch it later, record it and pause and start. So don't worry about your note taking. And if you are logged into a YouTube account, you can send comments. You can post comments in the comment area. I'm just going to show you how I would do it. And then what you'll do, if you come up with questions, just post them in there, and I will ask our presenter either at the time, if it fits in, or at the end of the presentation. But just as you think of them, type them in. Now, this month, the Los Angeles Public Library is thrilled to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. I'm going to bring up something to show you here. We've got tons of programming and events going on. So if you want to see what's on the docket, go to that website, and that will show you all the neat things that we're doing here. Now, as part of our celebration, I am thrilled to have back Clotilde Yap, the Global Collections Manager for My China Roots, which is, as you might know, a fantastic website devoted to researching your Chinese genealogy. She did a presentation for us last year on an overview about everything that My China Roots has to offer, and a presentation just last month on Chinese naming practices. And you can see both of those recorded sessions afterwards on our YouTube channel. And My China Roots is a database the library subscribes to so that you can use it for free. So today she's going to be talking to us about those wondrous Chinese family books, family history books known as Zupu. And Clotilde, you're joining us from London again, I believe, 7 p.m. your time, is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for spending your weekend with us and imparting your knowledge. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure. Happy AAPI Heritage Month, everyone. Yeah, it's always fun to do these with you, Julie. So I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, shall I just get started?
Yes, let me bring up your thingy here.
Okay. Yeah, happy Saturday, everybody. I apologize in advance if I go quiet all of a sudden because I'm recovering from a cold, so I may need a moment to cough for a few seconds every few minutes. But yeah, let's get started then. So this talk is going to be all about Zupus, or Chinese family tree books. So what I'm going to cover today is an introduction to My China Roots, so the platform, what we have to offer. Then I'll get into the details of what is this family tree book, what is contained inside a Zupu, and finally, how do you find your own family's genealogy book. So just a little bit about us to begin with. So My China Roots has been around for 12 plus years now. We are an international genealogy database for Chinese communities around the world. And there are three major services or things that we provide. The first is a family tree kind of software that was designed specifically for Chinese families, where you can build your tree, add names and facts of your relatives, add pictures, and then get notified when our system finds records that match the people that are in your family tree. So secondly, we have a large database of historical materials of Chinese communities around the world. And this is what I'm going to be talking about today, because this database contains some family tree books. And the final service or thing that we do is custom research services. So these are for people who want that extra help, who need either translation assistance or who want help with organizing a roots trip back to China. This is something that you could hire My China Roots to do if you wanted to. Yeah, thanks, Julie, for posting the links there. So what is contained in the My China Roots database? So we have two main categories of records that are available on the My China Roots platform. On the one hand, we have mostly English language records, which are of Chinese people after they left China. So these are going to be mostly from North America, some parts of Southeast Asia, and the Caribbean. About 2.5 to 3 million records to date. Meanwhile, we have another bucket of records, and these are going to be the Chinese language records from mainland China. So these are the jiapu, or the Chinese family tree books that this presentation is going to be about. Now, like Julie mentioned, the database is available completely free to patrons and users of the LA Public Library. All you need to do is either visit the LA Public Library to use the database on site. So you just have to go to mychinarootslibrary.com, or if you have an LA Public Library card, you can access it remotely from your own home. If you go to the Los Angeles Public Library's online resources page, and I think Julie should have a link to this also. There are a few other public libraries who subscribe to us: San Francisco, Alameda County, Marin County Free Library recently subscribed also. If you don't see your library on this page and you would like your local public library to subscribe, then please do email me, Clotilde Yap at mychinaroots.com, and we can see what we can do. Okay, so let's get started. What is a family tree book? What is a zupu? So the word that I've been using in my presentation has been usually either jiapu or zupu. I'm using the Mandarin Chinese pronunciation here, which literally means family book or clan book. And these are really used interchangeably. But in order to understand what this actually means, it's important to define what a clan is in a Chinese setting. So a clan refers to a group of Chinese people who share the same surname and who share some form of ancestry. So, excuse me, China is historically a patriarchal society, and it's a kinship-based kind of society, which means that when we talk about clans, we really mean people and males who share the same surname. For example, you could refer to the Li clan or the Wang clan. All of these surnames or clans have very, very ancient histories that go back, more than 4,000 years. So even though it seems like, sorry, let me just recap for a second. So most surnames have an extremely long history of over 4,000 years. So if you know your Chinese surname, you can potentially uncover, you can actually quite easily uncover the legendary origins of your Chinese surname. And China is different to other parts of the world because a large number of people share the same surname. You may have wondered why there are so many Lis or Wongs or Chans or Lums. Now, although they are part of the same clan, technically, they may not be so closely related. And this is because different surname groups migrated to different locations in China. So wherever they ended up, they created their own sub-clan, so to speak. Having said that, there are some very clearly defined hubs in China or locations where large groups of people who have the same surname ended up in. So for example, in Guangdong and Fujian, you have some surnames that are more prominent than in other areas. There are some surnames that are notoriously northern and others that are notoriously southern. So as part of this journey to understanding what your clan is and whether there is a family tree book to your name, it will be crucial to think about where your family's ancestral place is and where your clan is from. Historically, if you look at the role of the clan in society, clans were really at the center of local life. So because China was an agrarian society for the longest time, most people worked on the land for many generations and centuries. They were not necessarily very educated or wealthy. But the clan, and by this I mean an organized group of people who share the same surname and who are somewhat related, they could be groups of cousins, for example, were responsible for supporting each other, whether this was through funding education or supporting, the people who needed more help financially. They were also responsible for keeping up with rituals within the village, within their local communities. And they were responsible for record keeping, as in the case of Zupu or jiapu. So this is why really it's so important as you are doing your family history research to try and find out where your ancestral village is, because in your ancestral village is where you will find sources related to your clan, sources that refer to the history of your family. And these could be a family tree book, which was written by the clan. It could be a house that belonged to your family, to your relatives. It could be oral histories. It could be a clan graveyard where all of the famous individuals of the same family would be buried in the same place. Excuse me. So who was it that wrote the Zupu or the family tree book? Now, usually it would have been written by one or multiple members of the family. It could be quite a formal organized committee, as is the case of this modern Zupu, where you can see they've even taken pictures. They have a whole editorial board, and everyone has predefined roles. This is not always the case. I mean, when I went back to my family village back in China, it was just one old guy who was there, who basically took it upon himself to update the family tree book. So it really varies from one place to the next. But it is important to remember that a Zupu is not a neutral historical document. It is written by your own family for a very specific purpose. The golden age of Zupu record keeping was in the 11th to 12th century AD. And at that time, a lot of very famous political and literary figures in China, they promoted this practice of keeping a Zupu, of keeping a family tree book, as a way to encourage people to stay close to their family and basically support each other and give back. What was quite common was for richer family members, let's say a rich Li person of the Li clan, they would fund the education of poorer Li family members. And so by keeping a family tree book, this reminds you of how you're related to one another, and also makes you feel more proud to be related to or to be descended of potentially famous people within the clan. So to refine this definition just a little bit further, a Zupu or a jiapu is a book that records the members of a clan who share a common place of origin and a common ancestry. And it is compiled by clan members to reinforce their sense of identity. Now, the numbers that I've listed here have been sort of calculated roughly based on the family tree books that are on the My China Roots database. But they just give you a rough idea of just how vast these documents can be. The average Zupu can have up to 10,000, sometimes even more names, and can be about 800 pages long. Of course, this this varies. You'll find some Zupus on our website that are 15 pages long, and others which have 6 different volumes and each have, I don't know, 2,000 pages. So they do really vary in size. And the reason they vary in size is that their scope can be different. So next, what I thought I'd do is show you a few examples of Zupu from the database, so you can kind of get a sense of what they would look like. And you'll see that there are different types of ways that a Zupu is titled. So the most basic Zupu title will be just a very plain reference to the clan. In this case, it'll say Li Clan Zupu. So I know that this is a book about the Lis, but where exactly is this Li clan from? I need to check the publication information, because on the database there will be hundreds or dozens of books for the Li clan, but these will all be referring to different locations, some smaller than others. So you will also find some Zupu that are a bit more specific and that will tell you in the title which location the Zupu is referring to. For example, here we have the Li clan of Baitang, which is a village in Fujian province. So looking at the title, looking at the cover image, you can see where or what area this Zupu is referring to. Okay. Now we have some other cases of Zupu titles that look quite different and that are going to sound very wordy. In this case, we have a Huang or Wang clan Zupu from Dehua County, and it's entitled the Dehua Meishan branch Huang clan Zupu. So it's very, very wordy. You can see that the title contains the place, but it contains an extra piece of information, Meishan Tang. And the Meishan Tang literally means Meishan temple or Meishan hall. So what does that literally mean? What does that actually mean, the Meishan hall? So China's lineage system is segmentary, meaning that one surname lineage can get split into different segments, or we call them branches. For example, if at one point in time, one guy in the clan has 3 sons, and the 3 sons all move to very different areas, but their families flourish in each area. So you could have 3 branches, effectively, that are created, and each branch can ultimately have its own genealogy if it wants to. So this, for example, would be a Zupu of one branch that's split off from the Dehua Wang clan. And so this is it is basically telling you that this is a narrower kind of family tree book. And finally, in a similar vein, you will also have some Zupus that in the title will tell you the name of the founding ancestor. In other words, the first ancestor from which the records are being kept. Here it is, the title is Jiangxia Rumin, which literally means Jiangxia Rumin Shizu literally means the first ancestor who left Jiangxia, which I'm having a blank, but I think it from the Wuhan area, the Hubei area, and entered into the Fujian area. So that is Fujian province. So this Zupu will cover all of the Wang descendants of this particular ancestor from the moment that they entered the province of Fujian. So again, this is another more specific case of a Zupu that covers specifically a branch of individuals from a particular person and a particular point in time. Okay, so we've covered roughly what is a Zupu. Next, I'm going to be talking about what you can find inside a Zupu. So naturally, the clue is really in the name. We refer to them as family tree books. So of course, they're going to contain family trees. Now, inside the family trees, you will usually always by default have names of mostly the male family members. This is a minimum, especially if you have a kind of basic tree format kind of Zupu, like the one on my screen, which basically only has space for names. But in some cases, you'll have more detailed family tree records that will have further information, such as a generation number. So the generation number basically tells you the rank or the number of the generation from a founding ancestor. So if you have a Zupu of a certain area, it will usually count as number one, the first person who settled in this area, usually. So counting from that person, if that person has children, their children will be generation number two, and so on and so forth. Some more detailed family tree books will have things like aliases, so different types of Chinese names. Please do go watch my earlier presentation from last month where I talk about these different types of names that you might find. It might also contain birth dates, death dates, burial locations, and sometimes more detailed biographies, depending on the accomplishments of the person. So next, I thought I'd show you some other examples of what a jiapu could look like. The one I showed you just before was pretty basic, quite modern, and this is an older style jiapu. And it is still kind of formatted as a tree, as you can see from the lines. So this top row here, by the way, it's meant to be read right to left, but the top row will be of the earliest generation. And then below the top row, the second row, you have the children of this upper generation, and then the grandchildren on the lower row. And what you have on this page is not just names, but you do have the aliases of each person. You have the names of their wives and the village that the wife is from. You have a bit of information about the date of birth of these individuals. And occasionally even residential information. So it is pretty detailed for an old kind of Zupu. And then here is an example of a more modern publication where rather than having it in a tree format, it's basically a list. So it bolded here on the edge of the page, you have the first name of the individual. Now remember that a Zupu basically contains all male members of a clan, which means that they share the same surname. So there's no point in copying the surname again and again for every single individual that's mentioned. So usually when you look for a name, you're just going to look for the first name inside a Zupu. So bolded is the first name. Then next to the name, you have the number of children that this person had, the name of, sorry, not the number of children. This is whose child they are. So whose son are they? And this allows you to trace back who the parent of the person was a few pages before in the book, for example. Then it will tell you the name of the wife, the maiden name of the wife, I should say. And then it will tell you who the sons of this person are. So by using the names, you can then sort of retrace the tree page by page. This is just to give you some examples of the different types of formats that you might find. So I wanted to talk a bit about women in Zupus, because this is a question we get all the time. I feel like every time I do a presentation, there is a question by patrons at the end on records of women. Now, it's true that women traditionally were not deemed important enough to be really recorded, at least properly, in these records. And again, this is because of the patriarchy and China's very deep-set sort of patriarchal traditions. So However, I wouldn't say that women are completely excluded from these types of records. I mean, here, for example, is a screenshot from a Zupu that was published a few years ago, where you have not just names, but also portraits of female ancestors. But even in older versions of Zupu, you will find women recorded. Now, when they are recorded, however, often it is indeed not by their first name, but by their maiden name. So a Zupu will say when a member of the clan, let's say a member of the Li clan, marries a woman, it will say her maiden name. And because a Li could never marry another Li, or that is usually very much frowned upon, they would mention her surname. So it would say, Mr. Li married a lady of the maiden name Chan. Now, in some cases, like in the one or two screens ago, it will say, excuse me, it will say where this Miss Chan was born. So often it would have been a neighboring village. So even though you don't have a first name of a female ancestor, there are still some things that you can trace if you have her ancestral village. Now, what about daughters who are married in the clan? What if you have a Li clan book, and let's say a certain Li ancestor had 3 sons and 2 daughters? Usually the names of the sons would be recorded, but sadly, the names of the daughters are often going to be omitted. So it would just say the names of the 3 sons, and then it would say plus 2 daughters at the end. Now, this, I would say, is also changing. You have, in the last 15 years, new versions of Zupus that are being published where full names of women, of daughters, are also included. So if you are interested in finding female ancestors, it is still worth checking on Zupu for reference. But I would recommend collecting as many relatives' names of the female ancestor and searching for those names, whether it's a brother or a father, to see where you might get. That would be one way of overcoming this particular challenge. Okay, so moving on. What are some of the other contents that you might find inside a Zupu aside from family trees? So one thing is going to be historical context and legendary origins of your surname. Remember that these books were compiled to basically encourage people to feel super proud about where they came from and feel really connected to their roots. So there's often going to be 1 or 2 chapters about, the very first person who ever had your surname. How did they end up with the surname? Often it is a semi-fantastical story set in 3000 BC about a famous general or a famous government official who was awarded a piece of land because of his great contribution to, or the great advice that he gave to the emperor, something like this. At least that's the case for my surname. Yap used to be the name of an ancient kingdom. So these are really fascinating histories, and they'll also include sometimes migration stories about how your family ended up in the region that it ended up before your ancestors left China. For example, in the case of the Yap clan, so my surname, my clan is the Yap clan. So in our case, the original Yap kingdom was somewhere in northern China, but my Yap family ended up in southeast China eventually. So my family tree book would theoretically contain histories of how we ended up there. At what point did we enter the region of Fujian, which was actually probably around the 1400s, 1500s, if my memory serves. So these are really fascinating stories. If you do find your family tree book and you want to learn more about your ancestral origins, then we do offer a translation service, which is very customized to what you're interested in learning about. For that, you can go to mychanaroots.com/services. I think Julie posted a link to this earlier. Great, thank you. So yeah, I definitely recommend reading up more about about these legendary stories, which can be quite interesting. And then, in addition to these migration stories, you'll also occasionally find detailed biographies about famous people in your clan. Now, I just stumbled across this particular Zupu just last week, and I thought it was amazing that they had these hand-drawn portraits of, I don't even know who these are, but I'm going to guess pretty fancy ministers and government officials. But yeah, it does sometimes happen that you'll have biographies of these folks. For the longest time in China, the most impressive thing you could do was become a government official, mostly because it was so hard to become an imperial a government official. You needed to pass so many imperial examinations. You had to learn all of the classic texts by heart. You had to be able to, write really complex essays on philosophy and literature. So it was a really, really arduous and long process. So it was the highest attainable, the most impressive thing you could do, really, to make your parents proud. So you're definitely going to find, a few featured government officials in your Zupu. Now, one thing I will say about famous ancestors specifically is that a Zupu is reliable usually. It is only really reliable when you look at the most recent 400 to 500 years of history. So if you have a Zupu that's published in the 1950s, then the family trees and the stories that cover the sort of 1400s to 1950 are going to be reliable. But the further back in time you go, the more tenuous those connections become. Because it becomes harder to prove really whether a certain family is indeed descended of a particular person. These books were often copied from one neighboring clan to another, and it may have been in the interests of a family to claim that they were related to a famous person because it made you sound more impressive, and it made people, more almost patriotic or proud of their clan. So I would say all the stories that come earlier in time are, of course, really fascinating, and they tell you about what your clan wanted other people to know about them. But you should definitely take it with a pinch of salt as to how accurate all this information is. Okay. The other thing that you can find inside your jiapu that is very helpful is a generation poem. So I talked a bit about generation names in my talk in April, but just to refresh everyone's memory, I've just grabbed the same example that I had at that talk, but I found this census record of a guy in the US, a Chinese guy called Kim Wing, who's living in the same house as his brother, Kim Cheng. So both Kim Wing and Kim Cheng have the same generation name, which is Kim. So it's one character within their first name being Kim Wing and Kim Cheng. And this is in accordance to Chinese tradition, by which basically every male of the same generation, of the same rank, should share the same generational character. So that means that Kim Wing, Kim Cheng, and all of their cousins should have the word Kim in their name. Meanwhile, their fathers, their uncles of the same generation, would also probably have had the same generational character. Not Kim, but a different character that is defined in their jiapu. So if you have names of several people within your family tree, several men inside your family tree, then, and you notice that they share, that their names sound somewhat similar, it's probably because they're using a generation name. So what you want to do is write down these generational names for reference, and then you can compare it to the generation poem that is inside your Zupu. So to show you what a generational poem looks like, it comes in different shapes and sizes. It can be really long or really short, depending on the breadth of the jiapu, of the clan. Excuse me for a second. Oh, sorry, my throat was very ticklish. Okay, so the pretty huge generational poem, which has over 200 variations of characters. So it'll tell you the number of the generational number or the rank and the character associated with that generation. So theoretically, every single person of the same generation should have that character. Sometimes people broke the rules, or if they moved away from China, they may not still be aware of the poem, or they may forget, or they may lose touch. And so they'll just come up with their own names. But in theory, they should follow the poem. On the right-hand side, it actually does look like a poem. You have these two verses right here, made up of 10 characters each. So you just basically follow them in order. The first character will be for the first generation. The second character below it will be for the second generation, and so on and so forth. Now, finally, some other things that you might find inside jiapu are literary prefaces. I actually studied some of these in my undergraduate. I wrote a paper on family tree records, would you believe it? And I tried reading a few of these literary prefaces, and they were, to be honest, incredibly flowery and clearly written by very pompous men who were essentially saying, it is so wonderful to know where you are from, as my friend, the very famous poet so-and-so said, and then they would quote these insane poems and just historic quotes by historical figures. So these are not necessarily, interesting or worthy of translating in and of themselves. Occasionally, they will have some interesting nuggets, and they'll tell you a bit about the historical context in which they wrote them and why they were asked to write them to be included in the jiapu. But this just sort of shows you what kind of complex publication these books could be. Of interest, however, you would also have sometimes rules of conduct included in a family tree book. Now, I don't have a screenshot of one here, but they basically look like a wall of text, numbered 1 to 20 sometimes, and they'll tell you things like, as a good clan member, you should not marry the widow of another clan member, or so on and so forth. So it's basically about how to be a good member of local society and community. Some of them are quite obvious, others less so. You can have also instructions for how to conduct certain rituals. So, for example, in a village, you often will have a clan temple where you're meant to worship the local ancestors. So, for example, in my village, in my Yap ancestral village, there's a Yap clan temple. And there is certain days in the year where we are meant to go to the temple to pay our respects. And sometimes there's a certain order in which you're meant to light the incense, provide some food offerings, or light a candle, light more incense, or bow a certain number of times. I've seen several zupus that will describe in a lot of detail the order in which you're meant to be doing these things. And finally, in a zupu, you might also find village and local histories about the clan and the community, what happened to the village during key points in history. For example, what happened in the village during the Japanese invasion of China and the Japanese occupation of China, or what happened in the village during the Great Famine of the early Qing dynasty, and what happened, how did people survive, and things like that. Okay, so now that we know what you can find inside your Zupu and what they are, we can finally look at how do you actually find your own family tree book. So I'm going to start by telling you the traditional method of finding your family tree book before providing you with the shortcut, which is going to be basically using my China roots. So the old-fashioned way of finding your Zupu is fairly tedious in the sense that it involves tracking down where your family's village is. The most likely place where your Zupu might be is in the village that your migrating ancestor came from. So to find your village, you're going to need to go through a certain number of steps. You're going to need to find a document that lists this village, which is not so obvious if you're starting from a Chinese American ancestor. They may not have recorded or written down the name of their village on that many documents. You might try an immigration case file or a tombstone, as those would be the first place that I would look. But then once you have that name of the village, you'll need to figure out where it is today, because names have changed and the administration of excuse me, the administration of places has changed too. Ooh, sorry, let me have a drink of water. Ooh. All right, I'm back. So once you've figured out where your village is located today, you would then probably try to contact someone there to figure out, okay, is there even a Zupu there to start with? And then they might say, yes, there is, but you'll have to come check it out yourself. So then you have to travel there, maybe book a flight to China, take pictures, try to scan it as best you can on your trip. Interview the people there to see if they can provide any more context about the book, if they can show you in the book where your great-grandfather is. So all this to say, it's a lot of work. And most importantly, you need to have someone there who knows how to speak the language and knows how to navigate all of these things. So, sorry, oh my goodness. So if you are unable to find your Zupu on My China Roots, actually, this is the method that we would recommend taking. And it is also something that My China Roots specializes in. So if you know already that your Zupu is not on our database, then I encourage you to get in touch with us, because this is something we can help you with. Now, your first port of call, though, if you are not sure, is to go to mychinarootslibrary.com. So even better if you can access it via the LA Public Library. So I'm going to show you basically how you would go about looking for a Zupu on the platform. So here is the homepage of the My China Roots database. Here you can search a variety of different record collections, not just Zupus, but if you are looking specifically for a family tree book, then you can click on this link here, which will bring you to the Zupu homepage. So the first way to search would be just to search by using your surname and the place that your family is from. And you do need both of these things, and I'm going to show you why. If you were to type in just your surname, let's say Lee, L-E-E. Now, the first challenge is knowing what your Chinese surname is. We'll show you, excuse me, we'll show you a suggestion of how you might spell your Chinese surname, but it's important you pick the right one. So you may want to check with your family members or even better, use the My China Roots surname database, which is found under resources, which will suggest probable Chinese spellings for your surname based on the dialect that your family speaks, based on the country that your family settled in, for example. Now, in this case, I know that my surname, my hypothetical surname is this first Li, so I'm going to select it. Now, just to show you why I really do need to set the ancestral place, I'm just going to look at what Li family books are available, full stop. So we have 684 results of potential Li family books. So this is one surname, but as you can see, the Li clan is a very big clan that split into many, many different branches that settled in many, many different parts of China. So these are all of the provinces where we have a Li family book from. So this is why it's so important to know your ancestral place. The more detailed you can be in where your family is originally from, the more likely you will be to find your clan book, your family tree book. So I'm going to go back to the search page. I'm going to edit my search, and I'm going to type in the location that I know my ancestors are from. Now, I picked Taishan, which is a very typical hometown or home city, which is still quite a broad area, but it is specifically a famous area that a lot of Chinese Americans come from in Jiangmen. So if I click Taishan, let's see how many Li family books there are for Taishan. So you'll see that we have some entries that are from different libraries that are not digitally available. Now I'm going to filter my search to show only the ones that we have images for. So we have 11 books that are online on the database. These are all for Taishan city, but you'll see that there are some from more specific areas like villages or towns inside Taishan. But what I want to show you is this one here, which is the recent edition of the Taishan Li Clan Zupu, which is a multi-volume jiapu. It's absolutely huge. It's got 8,000 pages total, and it covers all of the branches of the Li clan in Taishan. So every single village, every single branch will be included in this book. So if you are a Li and if your family is from Taishan, then you should probably check out this particular record. Now, when you're here, you can do several things. You can search for a name or a keyword inside this book. So let me just make sure I'm typing in Chinese. And I'm going to type in a first name. Let's go with Junrong and click search. And now it will search for full text results of this name inside the book. So if I click on the first match, highlighted in yellow is the name. And up here, I can actually rotate my image for ease. And this is where the name is. So this is clearly a name on a family tree page. If I click on it, it will show me this sort of pop-out dictionary. It will show me the meaning of the words that are highlighted. Oh, so Junrong, this name, it actually means smart, handsome, talented, and glory. Talented glory. What a fanciful name. And above this Junrong person, you will have Junrong's father. Side by side, on either side, you'll have siblings or cousins. And on the left-hand side, it says 26 and then generation. So this Junrong person is of the 26th generation inside this particular Taishan Li Zupu. And at the top, it refers to the branch that this tree falls under. So this is how you would potentially locate a name if you have a clear sense of, if you know that a certain Zupu is available in the database and you're pretty sure it's relevant to you, then this is the approach that I would recommend. If you just have no idea if there even is a Zupu for your family, then instead, I would recommend going back to the Zupu homepage, and rather than looking for a book, go straight for the name. Now, for this, you will need Chinese characters. So you may, excuse me, you may have the Chinese name from another record that you found on My China Roots, or perhaps a relative would be able to type it for you. In a second, I'll show you a new tool that we're developing. It's still in beta, so it doesn't 100% work, but it's basically a tool that allows you to extract Chinese characters from an image. So this is another way that you could obtain the Chinese characters. But I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. So type a name in Chinese. So let's say I have a grandparent called Junrong Li. Okay, and I have no idea if there is indeed a book with his name in it. So if I click search, it's going to look for matches with this name across our database. Sorry, let me just take a second. My throat is particularly scratchy right now. Okay, I'm back. Let's try this again. Apologies. So this is why I call this the shortcut method, because rather than have to find your village, go through the whole hassle of trying to go there and figure out if there is a book, we can take a shortcut by searching our entire database of family tree books and seeing if there is indeed a match for that person's name across all of these books. So at this stage, you'd probably want to filter the results by the location. For example, Guangdong province, which will be most likely where a lot of Cantonese Chinese American families come from. And then on any result, if you click examine matches, this is actually the same book that we were looking at before, but this is just another way of reaching the same result. So all this to say, if you have a Chinese name, then I really recommend you try searching the Zupu database. It's surprisingly rewarding if you do find your family tree book. I've spoken to a few users who basically have managed to piece together an entire lineage of 30 plus generations just by working their way through one single book. So as opposed to finding other ancestors where you really have to go one ancestor at a time, if you find the right book for you, then you get to unlock a lot of information all in one go. So the tool that I wanted to show you that is still in progress, but it is available via your personal account. So this is not on My China Roots library, but it will be available. And this is just beta, by the way. So it's still a work in progress. But so if you go to mychinaroots.com, not mychinarootslibrary.com, you have this option to build your family tree and also attach images to your account, to your private personal account. So these are not shared with anyone. They're just in your own kind of folder of files for you to organize all of the clues that you might have about your family. So let's say you have a document with a signature and you have Chinese characters on it. Now, right now, if you don't know how to type Chinese characters, there's no way for you to get these characters out. So we're developing this tool, which I'm just giving you a preview of, that lets you basically extract text from a particular area. In this case, I'll highlight the signature. And then if you click extract, it will process it. Right now I'm searching in English, but you can use different types of software that will work best for Chinese characters. Now, this will probably be challenging because it is handwritten, but we're working on improving the software. So it's not completely right if I look at Chinese auto detect, but let me try one of these others. Also not 100% accurate, but this is still a work in progress, like I said. But we know that it is a big challenge for a lot of users who don't know how to type in Chinese. So we're really keen to basically give people the tools to be able to do this themselves. So I just want to close off with a little note about, sorry, let me just find my screen again. Okay. So what I just showed you is available via an individual account with My China Roots. And I really recommend for those who don't want to go through the hassle of searching for ancestors' records and checking whenever we add new collections. One thing that you can do is just build your family tree in one go. You can even import it from any other software any other platform, whether it's Ancestry or Family Tree Maker. Just import it to My China Roots, add all the names and places, and then forget about it. It's completely free. It's super easy. You can also add Chinese names if you can. And then if our system notices that, for example, there is a matching immigration case file or tombstone that matches a person inside your tree, then you will get an automatic notification that says, hey, we found this record of this person. So again, this is just to make it super easy for you. It stays fully private and it's all available on mychinaroots.com. The link is just down here. And we are offering a special discount to people who subscribe to an individual account throughout the month of May. The code is down here, LAPL24. And yeah, I hope this was interesting. I'm sure there'll be more questions about Zupus. I'm sorry again for the persistent coughing. But yeah, let me know if you have any further questions.
I have about 1 million, so I'm going to start.
Okay, great.
Hang on one moment. And also, so everybody, if you have questions, just go ahead and type it in the questions bar and I will interrupt my blah, blah to ask your question. And thank you to Clotilde again for muscling through this with that cold of yours. That's not a pleasant thing to go through, I know. So I was wondering, you showed the example of how you can type in the name of an ancestor to search through the Zupu collection, but I can't imagine your Zupu books can't all be indexed, can they? Are you still working on that?
No, we are still working on that. Yeah, we have 1 or 2 that is indexed. A few are in the process of being indexed, but they are all full text searchable. So what you saw in the matches, those are basically full text batches. So it's automated, which means that which means that the matches that you get will vary in quality, depending on how clear the page is. You know, the name might not be recognized as completely correct. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're working on because we know these are so valuable. But generally speaking, this is why I showed the first approach of finding your book first using just the surname and the place. Because if you have those two correct, you know, you're pretty sure that it is your book. And then it's just a question of being really thorough and checking the right pages and checking all the possible names inside that book. And maybe eventually asking someone at My China Roots to help out and help triple check it if you think that there should be an ancestor's name in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you'd basically can browse through the book just like you're reading a book. Once you find the book that you know is the correct one, then you just go through and look at the names. Yeah, I've had to do that with some Swedish records for sure.
Oh, wow. Were they in Swedish?
Yes. Yeah, they're these household examinations that are like a yearly census for them, and they're amazing. But they're not all indexed, so you usually have to find where they're from, look at the year, and then just go through page by page. But they're slowly becoming indexed as well. So I figured it was the same kind of process. And does My China Roots currently publish up-to-date, like currently published Zupus that are being put out by clans today? Or are those copyright protected? I'm not sure how
It is a very, great question. I mean, some of our most recent Zupus that are on here, they're published in the early 2000s. And really the rate at which they get updated is very ad hoc. It really depends. Sometimes clan members will just scribble updates in the margins. So it's not necessarily a very formal process. But it really depends on the partners, the libraries or the collectors that we partner with to get these digitized. It depends on what they can get their hands on, basically. But yeah, the more recent publications tend to be sort of more thorough and more comprehensive, and also easier to OCR, easier to grab the text from because of the font that our software finds just it's easier to grab. You asked another question. You had a related question, which has now left my mind.
Copyright protected?
Oh, copyright protection, yes. So it's a very gray area because technically, technically that it's not like always unique content that is contained inside a jiapu. Some of these family trees are recycled, in many different books. Some of them are even published online in different forms. And some of the introductory chapters even you will find in many different places, like the literary prefaces that I mentioned, or or the clan rules, for example. Sometimes they're recycled from one place to the next. So there's no copyright protection, so to speak. Depending on the book, of course, but most of them don't have it.
If a new one comes out, and this might vary again from clan to clan, do you have all the complete information you need in that newly published book, or do you also want to go back and look at older publications of the same Zupu?
So we've worked with a few customers in the past who found basically multiple editions of the same book, and they noticed discrepancies between the two. There was like a handwritten one and a printed one, and the printed one didn't seem to really match up. And it's unclear why this happens. I think either people just made a mistake and didn't reference the right thing, or used a different source to, to describe one particular relationship or one particular branch. So it may still be useful to look at an older version, but it won't necessarily tell you which is more correct. So yeah, it's the process of writing these books and updating them is very interesting. And to be honest, can still be kind of mysterious. We ultimately don't know what decisions were made, who decided to include certain people, certain things, or why. It's not always explained. And that's even more the case the further back in time you go. We just can't be sure.
Do they cite sources, or is it just basically kind of word of mouth, through the ages handed down information, or do they say?
It's very rare for sources to be mentioned. So usually the source of a particular Zupu will be another Zupu from the region that the clan maybe came from before. So in the introduction to the Zupu, it could say, oh, this Zupu was compiled in this date by this clan member who took it upon himself to do his duty. And isn't this an amazing thing that he's doing? Talking about himself, the author. And he'll say, and I used this Zupu that was handed down to me by my uncle and my grandfather as we arrived in this new place, or something like that. So, sometimes it will mention what is the old Zupu that was used to reference it, but it won't tell you, it won't reference any historical records, really. So, again, these are not historical records. They are very much private clan records, written by the clan, for the clan to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, English language family histories vary in quality. I mean, not quality, but veracity, I guess. Sometimes they sort their references. I mean, they cite their sources, which shows you that it's kind of legit. But oftentimes they're just, well, my Aunt Lucy told me this, but. So you always have to, like you said earlier, look at things with kind of a grain of salt. And let's see here. I wrote down a bunch of things here. So do you have any plans to incorporate perhaps an audio pronunciation of Chinese characters? And the reason I'm saying this is because a couple of the people I know here in Los Angeles, they know it from hearing their parents and grandparents speak Chinese in the household, but they cannot read the character. So I kind of thought maybe, if you clicked on a Chinese character and then you could hear like an audio pronunciation of it, it might be helpful.
Yes, that is a great idea. So, sorry. Name transliteration has been sort of on our minds for the longest time. We don't have any immediate plans to work on that. The audio thing is interesting because, the types of dialects that we're working with are not just the standard ones like Cantonese and Taiwanese. Some of them are more regional and vary a lot more, and there may not be as many. I mean, there aren't as many sort of mainstream resources. For example, for Taishanese, which is a dialect of the Jiangmen area, where a lot of Chinese Americans historically come from, it sounds quite a bit different to standard Cantonese or Hong Kong style Cantonese. So it wouldn't be necessarily the most obvious thing to know which dictionary or which resource we could plug in for this to work with. But it is a fantastic suggestion, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but it is, yeah.
We do have a question from someone who's watching.
Yeah.
Who wants to know a little bit more about the generational poems.
Oh, amazing. Let's see, what can I say about them? What more can I say? So, excuse me, give me a second. Not every family will follow the generational poem thing. If I look at my own family, for example, my grandfather, so my granddad is Malaysian Chinese. His father came from China. And so my granddad's generation, my granddad and all his siblings, they all followed some sort of generation poem, I assume, because all of the men had a name that started with the character Beng. My granddad was Beng Kong, his brother was Beng Huat, and Beng Chai, etc., etc. And all of his sisters, they had their own different generation names. So this was quite important as well. You would usually have a generation poem for men and one for women, if people even cared about the women. Sometimes the girls were like, name them however you like, it doesn't matter, unfortunately. But then from my dad's generation onwards, it seems like people didn't know maybe about generation poems. Or at least my granddad and his siblings' generation, they became quite westernized, didn't really speak Chinese as much, and just decided to give people whatever Chinese name they wanted. So as we go down in the generations, it becomes less strict. So me and my brothers, we don't follow generation names. I don't even know what our generation poem is. Even if I look at the family tree book that comes from our village in China, a lot of our other Chinese relatives don't seem to follow the poem either, at least not after my grandfather's generation. Yeah, so what else can I tell you? Yeah, some requests that we've had sometimes are from people who, they already have several generations in their family tree, and they notice that there's a generational pattern in the names. If you notice this and you want some help finding your Zupu, then one way to go about it is to speak to someone at My China Roots and say, hey, these are the characters that I know my family has been following. What is our poem? Or can you kind of figure out where our family is from based on the poem? That's something that we can do, but it requires a bit more investigation work. Or you could try doing it yourself through online research, but it would have to be in Chinese. Yeah.
I think part of the confusion for me, and I don't know if Betty is thinking this too, is the term poem. It sounds like it's going to be a kind of a literary, not necessarily rhyming sort of thing, but it's more of a technical, each generation has this surname sort of thing.
That's actually a very good point. And I, excuse me, I didn't really linger on it, but sometimes the poem does have some sense. I mean, the thing with the Chinese language is that it's so vivid. You can kind of find meaning everywhere, even if you string a few characters together. They don't really seem like they make sense because, it's such a, it contains a lot of meaning in not a lot of space in just one character. You can have multiple meanings. For example, okay, let me give you an example. This right-hand image, which has the poem listed here, I can't actually read all of the characters. So I can't tell if it really does make that much sense. But the first character is Hua, which is a beautiful character, but it has many different meanings. It is the Hua that refers to the Chinese people as a race, especially overseas people. They're Huaren. But it is also sometimes used as an adjective in the sense of flourishing and flourishing, like a flower blooming. So this is just to illustrate my point that it could actually stand as a poem if you look at it long enough, because each character that is chosen to make up the poem is naturally going to sound very beautiful and symbolic because you want to incorporate it into a name. So it will sound nice and it will have a nice sounding meaning. So I think the point is we call it a poem because it is a beautiful set of characters strung together. Thank you so much for asking that follow-up question, Julie, because I've been thinking about these things for so long. It kind of I don't even think about this anymore. But yeah, that's a very good point.
No, that's lovely. I need to learn more about the Chinese language, and that's interesting that a surname can be poetic. Well, I think that we have ended our questioning. And I know you're not feeling so hot, so I don't want to belabor your poor throat any longer. But I wanted to thank you again. This might have been like the best presentation I think that you've done so far, because the other ones have been excellent too. But I just learned so much.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
so all you out there watching, if you have friends who might be interested in this topic, have them go to the Los Angeles Public Library's YouTube page and rewatch this one and the other two. I mean, I've just learned so much since we've taken on this database. And so I want to thank you for bringing that to our city.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. No, I'm so glad. This was fun. Again, sorry for all the huffing and puffing.
No, it wasn't a bad thing.
Yes, thanks
well,
so
Clotilde,
much.
have a wonderful weekend, and all of you watching, have a wonderful weekend as well.
Thank you.
And we'll talk together soon.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.